Hunter Biden dragged his butt down to Arkansas, and the judge was not happy to see him, scolded him and his team for not being open and transparent with their records. You see, a photograph was captured of him by the Daily Mail, and they were there on scene giving us some details. They tell us that Hunter Biden and his lawyers were ripped by the Arkansas judge for sealing and redacting his financial information. Well, why would they do that? This is all about the child, about the baby, about Hunter's baby, Joe Biden's grandbaby. Why wouldn't they want to be forthcoming and open about all of their financial records? I wonder why that might be. The judge who is presiding over the case, who we'll learn a little bit more about, ripped into the first son for sealing and redacting his financial information. She said, the ability to redact is being somewhat abused. The judge's name is Holly Meyer. She said, I'm seeing a lot of filings lately, especially by Hunter's counsel, sealing things, redacting things that are not confidential. Now, the judge is Holly Meyer, and I pulled up a quick bio from her. She's a judge for the 16th Circuit of Arkansas, elected to the bench in 2018. Prior to her election, she was a prosecutor, named that in 2017, spent 1 year as a judge previous to that, graduated law school, was a prosecutor after law school, and now is a judge. The judge suggested that lawyers for Miss Roberts should subpoena a downtown Manhattan art gallery to find out exactly how much Hunter has made from selling his art. Whoo! I like that suggestion. That's a great suggestion from the judge. And you remember Hunter had his mucus COVID vomit paintings that he was selling out of the George S. Burgess Gallery for who knows how much. And the reason why we speculated that they were now selling art is because art is very hard to price. It's very subjective, which means that somebody can say, I think that's worth about $500,000. And you say, why? It looks like a bowl of moldy milk that somebody left in the sink for too long. I think it's beautiful. Here's $500,000, Hunter. And who can contest it? So a subpoena over to that art gallery to find out a little bit more about that would be nice. The judge ordered Hunter to produce more financial documents to back his claim that he should be allowed to reduce the amount that he gives to Miss Roberts. So he kind of brought this upon him a little bit, because he could have just said, well, I'll just give you whatever you want. Here it is. Rather, he is contesting it. Roberts and Biden came to face for the first time since she gave birth to Navy Joan, the young girl who is now 4 years old. We saw Hunter Biden in court with a suit and tie. Miss Roberts was there as well. Biden occasionally looked across the courtroom over at Miss Roberts. She was there with her parents, but she avoided eye contact. Neither party was called to testify, so Hunter didn't have to speak. Their legal teams there were sparring over disclosure requests, and apparently there's going to be depositions in June and a trial in July. Miss Roberts' lawyer, named Clint Lancaster, reeled off a list of items that he claimed Hunter's team had not answered and explained properly in their discovery responses. Now, I also looked into this fella, Clint Lancaster. This is his law firm. You see he's got a couple practice areas: election integrity legislation, lobbying, bankruptcy. He's made multiple appearances on the media, and they operate out of Arkansas. And if you go over to his Twitter account, you'll see, I believe this is his. Looks like this account joined November 2014. He has a photograph of himself in front of a Trump poster. And he posted new profile pic after an interview with Fox News after the hearing in Arkansas. Presuming this is his account. Doesn't seem like it's a new account because it was created back in 2014. He may be becoming a little bit more active on it, and we know a little bit more about what he does. Clint reeled off a list of items that he claimed Hunter's team had not answered. He said these included a line in Hunter's tax returns referencing a $9 million investment in a Chinese entity. Oh, that's interesting. Biden's hotshot DC lawyer, Abe Lowell, he shot back. He says, it's wrong. That's not what it states, Judge. The judge said, okay, this is what happens. See this right here, what's happening right now? This is a perfect illustration of why Hunter has to be more open about this stuff. Robert's lawyer asked Hunter's team why he didn't list any of the hotel stays over the 5-year period. Why didn't he put those on his financial disclosures? There was a single occasion where he slept on a cot in his dad's room. So if that's not included in his financial disclosures, is it accurate at all? His lawyers insisted it was accurate. Lancaster, Miss Roberts' lawyer, also said he was missing the names of Hunter's art buyers, not on the list, and the valuations of the paintings, which are on display at George S. Burgess, the COVID Hunter Mucus paintings. Hunter for the first son, an attorney for the first son, they tried to explain that he does not know the identities of his art buyers, unable to influence his father's administration. No, I have no idea where this money comes from. That way I'm separated from it, so I don't get biased. So 500 grand just shows up in his bank account. Now, I don't know where it came from. No. He's not out at dinner and somebody says, hey, Hunter, good to see you. Yeah. I love your work, by the way. Do you know who I work with? They tried to explain that it's arm's length distance. Give me a break. But the judge said she found it, quote, incredible that his lawyers couldn't give an idea of the prices. What are you talking? You can't even give me a ballpark? She then told Robert's lawyer that he could subpoena the gallery to find out more. Man, I'm sure George S. Burgess is not happy about that. And I'm sure that all of those identities of those art buyers are not happy about that. They thought that they would get away with this. We've got more photographs of Lancaster out at the court. Hunter's responses in court also failed to specify how much money he had been handed by his sugar brother pal called Kevin Morris. Hollywood lawyer loaned Hunter $2.8 million, just a small $2.8 million loan, to pay off a tax bill. Judge Meyer said, no, him being a concerned friend who just loans you $2.8 million, not good enough for me. You're going to need to produce more information there, Hunter, says the judge. She said specifically, quote, that's a pretty lame answer. When it was Hunter's turn to complain about Roberts, his team brought up Garrett Ziegler, who is a friend of this channel, has a great interview posted here, a former Trump administration staffer and a longtime Hunter nemesis, said that he has not seen so much as a resume or a report from him, and responded by pulling out a copy of the 644-page analysis that Ziegler prepared called the Hunter Biden Laptop Report, available at marcopolousa.org. So he pulled that open and he slammed it on the table in the courtroom, which means Hunter knows that they have that. He then handed a massive stack of papers entitled Robert Biden's Laptop to an incredulous Langdon, saying, that's all I have. Roberts agreed to hand over paperwork about her car lease, her house, her work, her father's gun business. Both parties agreed to turn over 5 years of phone records, anything relating to Navy Joan, the young girl. In the hearing, Lowell suggested it was time the world knew how much his client was shelling out. Said, my client is paying her $20,000 a month. He said the total figure's over $750,000, $750,000. This guy wants to shake Hunter's hand. He's like, wow, I love corruption and grody hands. And let me shake your hand. Bro, you're going to have to wash that. He is now complaining. His lawyers are upset that his lifestyle is being scrutinized including by the Daily Mail, which is the publisher of this article right now, which is a lot of fun. They reference him driving a Porsche. They reference him flying on Air Force One. And his legal team says, yeah, well, his Porsche was repossessed. And said, my client's been on Air Force One only once, and that was recent when he flew with his daddy over to Ireland. Hunter's lawyer also read out a headline. They say, these headlines are so misinformed, our client is misunderstood. Langdon went further by accusing his counterparts of feeding documents to the media. They deny that. So there are matters that are redacted that are getting out to the Daily Mail. But the judge clapped back. Said, hey, you have no proof that our revelations didn't come from public documents and from legitimate sources. She says, I can't gag the whole world. I can't control salacious stuff that's written in the newspapers. Oh, man, this is not Southern District of New York anymore. This is Arkansas. They're not used to this anymore. Woo, woo. You see, there are some other photos at the article. The long-running suit seemingly was resolved when a DNA test proved that Hunter's the daddy. He agreed to $2.5 million settlement. But the recovering drug addict abruptly reopened the case last September. Weird. So this was about done. He said, no, I have had a substantial material change in my income and I can't afford the payments. But Roberts refused to buckle, raised the stakes, petitioned the court officially to rename her daughter, to Navy Joan Biden. She served him with a sprawling discovery request, wants everything from business dealings in Ukraine, China. Hunter blew through multiple deadlines to turn over his documents, and so the judge said, that's no problem. You can show up here in person then. Warned, she's not going to tolerate any further delays. Depositions are going to be taking place from June 13th to June 16th. Wow, beautiful. And trial is slated for July 24th. Hunter slicked his hair back, flanked by Secret Service agents. 6-part motorcade. Elderly lady, hero, chanted, "Go Trump," as Biden walked past the corridor. And, hey, go Trump. The hearing took place amid tight security. Roberts accused him of hiding assets. Hunter definitely does not want the child to take his name, saying he wants a peaceful existence for her. Being a Biden would be a disaster. So that is the hearing. This is the scene outside the courthouse in Arkansas.
Security at an all-time high as President Joe Biden's son Hunter appeared in court today. As the 9 o'clock hearing time approached, the crowd near the Independence County Courthouse began to grow, with people wanting to get a glimpse of the president's son.
It's kind of a historical thing to be taking place here in Little Batesville, Arkansas, so I thought I'd just kind of come down and be a witness for whatever may or may not happen today.
Nice. This case surrounds Hunter Biden and Independence County resident London Roberts' child, Navy. Biden was revealed to be the father of the child after a paternity test a few years back. He's now asking for lower child support payments to Roberts. Discovery was a major part of today's hearing. Roberts' attorney wanted more specific information from Biden on the make and model of the vehicle he's been driving the last 5 years.
He's got a lot of assets and we want to know all about it. Lawyers are digging into it. Now, this was a clip from CNN. They have their legal expert on to explain their take about Hunter's missteps in causing this whole thing to unfold.
Ellie, so today the judge ruled that Hunter will now have to answer more questions under oath about his finances. The judge also chided Hunter Biden's legal team for, in her view, overly redacting their filing, hiding information that should be public. What did you make of that? Is it significant?
Well, Jake, the single most valuable asset that any lawyer or any party has in any case is credibility. And here it now seems that Hunter Biden and his lawyer have lost some credibility with the judge, who said on the record that they had, quote, played games with some of their evidentiary obligations. And let's keep in mind, Hunter Biden opened this door. He's the one who went back to court and said, I want to pay less in alimony. And so now, as a result of these rulings, Hunter Biden, A, is going to have to sit for an under oath deposition, and B, turn over more documents about his dealings, including his sale of so-called artwork and any income that he received from any foreign sources.
Did you hear that? So-called artwork? Amazing. He agrees with us. It's crap.
That information will be available to the other side and also publicly.
Less than child support, not less than alimony, right?
Right, sorry, yes.
Yeah, Sarah, it's hard to separate.
So amazing. Hunter brought it upon himself. He thinks that everything is going to continue to work out in his favor because his daddy's the president, but Arkansas is not Delaware. Arkansas is not the Southern District of New York or the D.C. Circuit. And so his attorneys are having a little bit of a difficult time facing actual justice, facing actual equal standards. And we'll see how this case unfolds. We've got depositions right around the corner. Then we'll have a trial. Unless they come to some sort of settlement, we'll see.